Alright, today we're going to talk about the song More Like Jason off of Little Tabby's self-titled CD. This song's interesting because it has two really different sections, and the part we're going to focus on, the outro, was the part that we had around for a long time. We've always used it as like a transitional space when we play it live, basically to get to other songs. And that's kind of how we do it now. But yeah, it's interesting that it ended up in this particular song. But yeah, what's notable about this part is that there's lots of slides, there's some glitch tapping. Also, I'm using a ring modulator. It's a pretty interesting sound. So yeah, it has this really weird kind of robotic sound. And I'm using these slides. I went through a real big Indian classical phase, and I was transcribing lots of vocals. But yeah, just to comment on that before we start, you can kind of pick a lower string to pedal. And it sounds pretty strange when I'm using this ring modulator, but you can see this. And I can take it off the ring modulator. But that's kind of the gist of the technique is, and I'm using my ring finger, sometimes I use my middle, but I don't use my index as much because I feel like more of my hand is involved. I'm putting more force into it. It's almost like bending with multiple fingers. But yeah, this But yeah, you can find all the half steps to do it with. You can also try to do it with two strings. Basically, a minor scale would be good, but like the key that the song is in, D minor, the key to this part, you could do something like. Kind of follow, I was just doing the half whole diminished scale, but yeah, you can kind of take two notes like that on different strings and try to do them together. But yeah. So it's hard and it takes a lot out of your hand, and it also is unreliable for me. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. But yeah, it's pretty difficult, but it's a different way of looking. So even if you don't really have an interest in this part or feel like you can't get it, I would try to take some of the techniques out of this part and use them for other things because they're applicable to a lot of situations. I don't think people use them enough. But yeah, so the song is in D minor, and I'm in the 10th fret. And interestingly, I kind of think of D minor, I think of this like universe of minorness. And I think of different tones kind of gravitating to certain situations, but I kind of see this D minor shape, and then I see all the possibilities with making it like the second mode of the major scale Dorian. I usually see a minor with that 6 as a possibility, the major 6 on the minor chord. Also, I think at the flat 5, so like a Dorian blues scale. These are kind of my go-tos. And then the major 7, which would make it melodic minor. And then I also will think in Aeolian or diminished stuff a lot as well. But I usually kind of just see this realm of minorness, and all the other possibilities are there depending on the situation and how briefly or how long I'm in a particular vamp on one chord or something like that. You can get away with a lot more. People are kind of in the world of D minor, which is what this part is. It's just hard D minor the whole time. You can really experiment and impose things on the listener. You can put arpeggios. You can kind of hint at different keys, allude to different types of tonalities on top of the minor, and sort of force people to come with you. So in this one, I kind of use this minor position, and I'd use the flat 5 and the major 7, so you can think of it as harmonic minor with the flat 5, like a harmonic minor blues or something like that. I might hit the major 6 in there too, I'm not sure. But yeah, so the way this works is I'm using glitch tapping, and I'm doing this slide thing. So all over the place I do this kind of thing, and you can trace it with your fingers. So you will see that a lot, and I use it with glitch tapping. But to start the idea, I'm tapping the 10th fret and the 10th fret of the high E and 10th fret of the B. So I start with the B, and then I glitch tap with my middle and ring on the high E, and then I slide in. So this is kind of a main kind of way that I'm approaching this idea. So I'm kind of walking down 10th, 9th, 8th, and I'm just sliding in right into where I'm pulling off with this tap. Sliding straight into it, and I'm going 10, 9, 8, and then I kind of come in for this slick maneuver where I'm tapping that 8th fret. I didn't really have enough, or I didn't have enough notes for this particular idea that I wanted. And then I slide into that. I hit the 11th fret, and then slide into that 10th. So then I'm sliding into that slide, and this is a really particular hard spot. You'll see other parts where it's a little bit easier. But yeah, you have to kind of really work that. It takes a minute. But yeah. So that's kind of the main part. Yeah, and there's a little introduction to this part too that I just skipped over, but I start off with this little the Indian classical slide. So yeah, and that's it's kind of walking up flat 7, major 7, 1, but I'm just following my finger. And then this one part, I'm kind of, I just kind of hop over. But yeah, so we had the main part. That's kind of the intro to the main part. Yeah, and you'll see that slide is really hard to get clear, and it's kind of unreliable inherently. But so it does that, and it keeps going. Yeah, and that's just kind of a painful process of getting that. We had that part, and I was working on it for so long, probably 40 hours, and then I ended up scrapping everything I recorded. But I was kind of chipping away. I didn't know what I wanted. I had a vague idea of what I wanted for it. But I slowly kind of chipped away and then got somewhere. Then I threw everything away, and we went on tour, and then I came back and recorded it. It was a lot better. But yeah, it's definitely good to be warmed up on this before you kind of attempt it in the real setting. But yeah, so... and then it does that like 3 times. And then it just crawls up this whole just kind of walking around these slides. So yeah, it's not too much there's not too much to it more than that. A couple of cool things is the way this glyph tap works is that you could try this anywhere. Like you could think of a B minor. And you could slide around. You could move this part too. So there's lots of interesting things. And then those slides, I would just try to play around with them. You could really... lots of interesting sounds. You can tie them into legato licks. Sounds really strange with this ring modulator, but yeah, and I think that is about it. All right, Godspeed. Thank you so much for supporting. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll probably end up doing the rest of this song soon, and then I'll try to put a nicer tab at the end of this. It was really hard to get the tab to read very well. All right, thank you.